Welcome, welcome. Well, as you have probably guessed by now, you are listening to Focal Point on AFR, and I am definitely not Brian Fisher, despite popular opinion. I am Dr. Gina Loudon, your guest host for today, and I am so happy to be with you. You can find out more about me if you like to at thesmartlifeshow.com or find me on Facebook or Twitter at Dr. Gina Loudon. You can find my work also at WND.com or MoneyBizLife.com. Lots of places out there just sitting alongside you, riding this train, watching it, going down the tracks, headed for a crash if we don't fix this republic. And that's exactly what this is about. And that's exactly what we are going to do today together. I have a suggestion or two. I tend to go a little mom on you sometimes because I'm a mom. I have 5 children, great husband, married to a former senator from Missouri, state senator John Loudon, and I have 5 great children that inspire everything I do and say and think. In fact, they're the only reason I'm sitting in this chair right in front of you right now because, well, if it weren't for them, honestly, I'd be hanging out on a beach somewhere. But I want to talk to you today because a lot is coming down. We have a new post, a new poll, in the Examiner. It says that Ted Cruz and Rand Paul top the polls as far as conservatives are concerned, and Chris Christie and Jeb Bush are dead last. And this, my friends, is the reason why you can prepare for what comes next. See, I've been watching politics for way too long. My husband always says, I hate it because I know too much. I hate knowing what's going to happen next. I hate having to watch this like a well-choreographed disaster. But I know what comes next. The next is that the left, as we tend to call it here in the United States, I'm going to talk about that too, that the statists, as they really should be called, will now converge, as they do each election cycle right about this time, with those who call themselves Republicans, but they are actually more all about their own power and prestige. And let's not forget money, because that's a huge part of politics. I know it. I've experienced it. And so they will join forces and they will begin to define the narrative. They will begin to say why you and I are crazy. We're the crazy ones. And they have some great support. The establishment GOP in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere, they have great help with that. They have an imperial president who believes that he can do whatever he wants. And I know that because he said so himself. Get this. Jeff, we have a clip for that?
I'm not supposed to, but sorry, we're breaking protocol here.
No worries.
That's all right. That's the good thing about being president. I can do whatever I want.
I'm the president and I can do whatever I want. Let me just help that settle into your brain for a moment. I'm the president and I can do whatever I want. He honestly said that. And we have another clip too. He feels a lot of power in a lot of the things that he has and does. It's not just on little tours, little photo ops. It's also sitting in the Oval Office with his pen and his telephone. Jeff?
I've got a pen and I've got a phone. And I can use that pen to sign executive orders.
Well, it goes like this, Mr. Obama. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. You see, Mr. President, we have some rights of our own. Only our rights, unlike yours, are actually enumerated in what we call a constitutional Bill of Rights. And this is why, my friends, I want to talk to you for a moment about how it is we are going to speak back to the narrative they are going to throw at us in the days to come. Words matter. Labels matter more. You ever talk to somebody who's really great at something? I talked to a good baseball player, and he said he became better when he became an umpire because he understood the rules of the game, and therefore he knew how to play it. He was a decent baseball player, but he became far better when he also became an umpire. Do you, my friends, understand the rules of the game? Now, I know you expect that Brian and I and all the other hosts who join you every day through your radio or computer, you expect that we understand that, but do you understand that? Can you quote it? Well, the same advice given to me by a baseball player applies to your citizenship. How engaged can you be without a basic understanding of the rule book for Americans, the United States Constitution? It's that precise lack of understanding of specifically the Bill of Rights that I'm talking about right now that has allowed an erosion of these rights for generation after generation and has given that man permission to stand there and say, I can do whatever I want because I'm president and I have a phone and I have a pen and I plan to use it. Oh, no, Mr. President, you can't. But you see, the American people don't even get that. There's basic confusion about who we even are. And we presuppose a fallacy. This assumption has the left on one side and the right on another. They also have the moderates that the elite in D.C. love to talk about. We must attract these moderates. We must drop the social issues, and we must stiffen our chin, and we must drop everything that might possibly be offensive to anyone. And for crying out loud, don't mention God or guns. And we must attract this mythical centrist out there who, by the way, doesn't actually exist. Not only that, the labels are wrong. The terms left and right, do you know where they come from, my friends? You should know this. They come from the French monarchy. The idea was if you were with the king, you are a centrist, a statist, we might call it. That's my preferred term. But if you sat on the right, they said, you were in the right. If you sat on the right of the king, you supposedly were with him. If you sat on the left of the king and you stood for liberty, you opposed the king. Now, to suggest that those on the right who are conservatives favor a powerful king is utter ridiculousness, and we know that. This axiom immediately falls apart when you look at who is actually opposing statism. That's the folks who are supposedly on the enumerated right, right? Similarly, to suggest that the left are somehow opposing the statists is insane and absurd. And where do you put the anarchists? And what is a centrist under this imposed and impaired presumption of labels if you look at the French monarchy, where these terms came from? The better tool is to view political ideology on a continuum, from total government to no government. So on the left, you have communism, you have statism, you have dictatorships, monarchies, oligarchies, all the rest of it. And as you move to the right, you have republics. You end with anarchy or no government at all. So the reality is, if the U.S. Constitution is the basis of this republic, as it is, in America, then the moderate or the centrist should really be the one who believes the most strongly in the U.S. Constitution. This is not my concept. I met a man, an activist, wrote a manual. His name's Stephen, I'm going to mess this up now, Mycoskie. He wrote a manual on this, and he wants people to know about it. He's self-published this. He's so passionate about it. And he says, if you frame up politics and you put our Constitution in the middle, not the president, but our Constitution, who is the foundation of this country, then we, my friends, are the constitutional centrists. Talk about it. Think about it. Tell your friends and neighbors, because that is precisely where we are. We are the constitutional centrists. They are the statists, because in the center of their frame is the imperial king, Obama. And the imperial king can do whatever he wants. Freedom of speech is under attack. My next guest is the editor of a newspaper that has been banned from public places. You can't make this stuff up. Stay with us. I'm Dr. Gina, filling in today. Focal Point.